moving to a new country. Wow. It's one of life's most, I guess, profound adventures, isn't it?
It really is.
Filled with anticipation, new experiences, but also, let's be honest, those moments of quiet trepidation.
Definitely. That mix of sunshine and what our source material calls these scary clouds, it's a feeling anyone starting a big new chapter knows really well.
Yeah, intimately.
I certainly remember it. Packing my bags just a few months back for the UK. You know, so much excitement for the new people, the places, but the nervousness was real. Especially trying to figure out the speed and the unique rhythms of spoken English.
Oh, totally.
It felt less like a language and more like
Yeah.
this high-speed puzzle my brain was just desperately trying to solve.
I can absolutely relate to that feeling.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a real challenge, that immersion. And that's exactly why we're diving deep today.
Right.
We've looked at this comprehensive guide about starting life in an English-speaking country, and we're pulling out the most vital, practical, and hopefully confidence-boosting insights.
The key stuff.
Our mission isn't just to give you a list of phrases, but really to equip you with the cultural nuances, the mindset you need to turn those first anxieties into, well, small victories, as the guide puts it.
Exactly. This deep dive, it's meant to be like your friendly guidebook, and it's built on this core idea. The journey isn't about these giant leaps.
No.
It's about tiny, consistent steps. Our source material is this practical step-by-step guide, and we're basically creating a kind of library of conversations for those moments, helping you navigate everyday stuff with, a bit more ease.
So if you're standing right there on the edge of this adventure, or maybe even just dreaming about it, this deep dive is definitely for you. We'll cover, pretty much everything, from the unspoken rules of your first hello, all the way to figuring out public transport, mastering grocery store runs.
The supermarket mention.
Right. And turning a restaurant visit into something genuinely enjoyable, not stressful.
Yeah.
We'll also tackle how to handle misunderstandings gracefully, because they will happen, confidently making appointments, the art of small talk.
Always tricky.
And finally, putting together a daily practice plan that you might actually stick to.
That's the goal.
The aim here is a shortcut, really. A shortcut to being well-informed and feeling genuinely confident. Okay, let's unpack this. First stop. Those first interactions, the ones that really set the tone.
Absolutely. They are the building blocks, aren't they? You want to seem polite, friendly, but even something simple like hello or hi. There are subtle social cues hidden in there.
That's a great point. We tend to think of greetings as just, words, but there's more to it.
There is. Hi is incredibly versatile. It's your go-to for pretty much any casual interaction. A shopkeeper, a neighbor, someone your age. It sort of signals this warm, immediate connection.
Okay.
Hello is also very friendly, but maybe signals a slightly more respectful distance. Good for first encounters or when you're trying to get someone's attention, maybe initiating something a bit more formal, but without being stuffy. It's about managing that social distance with seemingly simple choices.
Then what about good morning, good afternoon, good evening? Are they just formal or?
No, not at all. They're wonderful ways to acknowledge the time of day, sure. But more importantly, they show this subtle attentiveness to your surroundings, to the person you're talking to. People really appreciate this. It's like a small cultural marker that says, I'm engaged, I'm present. Adds a layer of pleasantness beyond just a basic hi.
Okay, so let's picture this. You're meeting someone new. You've used a good greeting. What's the next key phrase?
Nice to meet you. That's your essential follow-up. It's concise, universally understood, shows you're pleased about the introduction.
Simple enough.
And when you're leaving, a warm have a nice day, or maybe a bit more casual have a good one, is the perfect, polite way to exit.
Now, here's something that trips up a lot of learners, I think. When someone asks, how are you? In some cultures, that can be a genuine question about your well-being.
Yes, and that's a key insight.
Yeah.
In everyday English chat, how are you? Is often just another polite greeting. It's like a ritual opening, not really an invitation for a detailed health report.
Right, not asking for your life story.
Exactly. The expectation is usually a brief, positive response. I'm good, thanks. How about you?
That's perfect. Polite, and it immediately returns the question.
Okay.
Other common ones are, doing well, thank you. Or, especially in the UK, you hear, all right, thanks. A lot.
Which can sound a bit negative if you're not used to it.
It can, but it actually just means I'm fine. The real takeaway here is keep it light, keep it positive, and keep it brief.
So wrapping up these first interactions, beyond the words, what's the most important tool?
A warm smile. Honestly,
Simple as that.
it speaks every language, bridges any initial gaps before you even say a word. These are the foundational interactions. They start building that comfort, that confidence.
Building conversational muscle memory, like you said.
Absolutely. From those first hellos, you build your way up. And speaking of building up, let's move to a very common, very necessary task, the grocery store mission. This was one of your first sort of independent practice grounds, wasn't it?
Oh, it certainly was. The grocery store or supermarket is fantastic for learning. It gives you clear goals.
Right. You need to buy milk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the interactions are generally low stakes, but happen really often. You're guaranteed to get practice.
So beyond knowing basic words like aisle or checkout, what's maybe a deeper insight into navigating a supermarket in a new country?
Well, you'll quickly recognize the aisles, those numbered paths, and you'll learn terms like shopping cart, or in the UK, trolley and cashier. But the real challenge sometimes is understanding the logic of the layout.
How so?
In many places, unlike maybe back home, fresh produce is usually right at the front, but staples like bread and milk, often strategically put right at the very back.
To make you walk through the whole store?
Precisely. So you navigate the entire place. It's not just about vocabulary, it's about understanding the sort of shopping strategy built into the store's design itself.
That's fascinating. Okay, so let's imagine our listener is looking for something specific, say bread, but they just can't find it. What's the best way to ask?
Right. This is your moment to practice asking for help. Start politely with, "Excuse me." That's crucial for getting attention respectfully.
Okay.
Then simply, "Excuse me, where is the bread?" Or even better, "Excuse me, can you help me please? I'm looking for the bread." Using "I'm looking for" is really useful. It implies you're on a mission, makes the request feel more approachable.
Now, in that scenario, maybe the employee speaks clearly, but often, people talk fast. What if our listener didn't quite catch the directions? Aisle 5, next to the biscuits, and it's gone.
Yeah, that happens all the time. This is a moment where you absolutely have to be brave. It's so much better to ask again than to wander around lost and frustrated.
Definitely.
Don't be afraid to say, very politely, "I'm so sorry. Can you say that again slowly, please?" Or, "Could you repeat that, please? I'm sorry. I'm learning English."
And people are generally okay with that.
Almost always. People are incredibly understanding and usually happy to help if you just ask nicely. It actually shows you're engaged in the conversation, not just like tuning out because it's hard.
Good point. Okay, fast forward. Our listener has found everything. They're at the checkout. What should they expect from the cashier?
Okay, the cashier will probably greet you. Something like, "Hi, did you find everything okay today?"
Yeah.
A simple "yes, thank you" is all you need.
Easy enough.
Then they'll scan your items and ask a few standard questions. Do you need any bags? Or would you like a bag?
Yeah.
That's very common because in many countries, you have to pay for bags now.
Right.
So you can say, "Yes, please, 2 bags," or "No, thank you, I have my own."
And what about those loyalty cards they always ask about? Yes.
They might ask, "Do you have a loyalty card?" Or "Are you a member?" If you don't, a simple "No, I don't" is totally fine.
Yeah.
No pressure. Finally, they'll tell you the total, and you'll just need to say how you want to pay. "By card, please," or "Cash, please." Once that's done, you get your receipt, and a warm "Thank you, have a good day" is the perfect way to end it.
That was a fantastic walkthrough of the grocery store mission. So the key takeaway is being ready for those common interactions.
And having the courage to ask if you need clarification.
Exactly. These practical everyday tasks offer consistent, low-stakes practice. It really builds up.
Building confidence one shopping trip at a time, absolutely.
Okay, so we've navigated the neighborhood, conquered the supermarket. Now it's time to explore the city independently, which often means using public transport, like a bus or a train. And this can feel like a big hurdle for newcomers.
Oh, absolutely. My first time trying to figure out a city bus system was, genuinely confusing. So many routes, numbers, and that constant fear of getting on the wrong one. Or worse, missing your stop.
Yeah, the missing your stop fear is universal, I think.
It's a very common anxiety.
Totally. So let's map this out for our listener. Let's say they want to take the bus to the city museum. What's the first strategic step?
Ideally, the very first step is planning before you even leave the house. Use a map app like Google Maps or a City Mapper or whatever's local. It'll tell you exactly which bus number to take and where the stop is.
Okay, smart.
But let's imagine you're at the bus stop and maybe you're still feeling a bit unsure. Perhaps 2 different buses pull up around the same time.
Right. You see other people waiting, but you're not sure which bus is yours. Who can you ask?
You can absolutely ask someone else waiting at the stop. This is a brilliant chance for a little bit of, low pressure interaction.
Good point.
You can turn to someone and say, Excuse me, I'm a little lost. Starting like that. It's great. Humble, friendly.
Yeah.
Then ask, do you know if this bus goes to the city museum? It immediately invites empathy and help. You're not demanding info, you're asking for guidance.
Nice approach. Okay, so our listener now knows which bus to take. The bus arrives. What's the drill when they get on?
Right. When you board, the drive will be right there. And this is where you'll pay your fare. You can confidently say to the driver, 1 ticket to the city museum, please.
Oh, okay.
Or if you don't know the exact name of the stop or the price, you could ask, how much is a single ticket, please? Some key words here are fare. That's the price. Single ticket or one-way ticket for just one journey.
And return ticket.
Right, or round trip. That's for going there and back. Also, be aware many buses now are cashless or only take specific cards, so it's good to check that beforehand if you can.
Good tip. So the fare is paid. Now comes that universal public transport worry. When do I get off? How do I know?
Ah, the moment of truth. Okay, many modern buses and trains have digital screens or automated announcements. They clearly state the name of the next stop. That's your primary guide. Listen and watch carefully.
Well, what if they don't? Older bus, maybe.
Good question. If there's no screen or you're unsure, you have a couple of great options. When you first get on, you could ask the bus driver, could you please tell me when we get to the city museum stop?
Okay, ask the driver.
Or you could ask another passenger sitting nearby, excuse me, I'm going to the city museum. Would you mind telling me when it's the next stop? Most people are really happy to help out.
That's reassuring. And when it is your stop, what do you physically need to do?
Usually, you'll need to press the stop button. They're typically located on the poles inside the bus. That signals to the driver you want to get off.
Right, the little red button.
Exactly. Then, as you're getting off, especially if you exit near the driver, remember to give a quick thank you.
Ah, nice touch.
It's a small thing, but it's a very common and polite interaction. Makes the whole thing feel a bit friendlier.
That's a fantastic, practical guide to the bus journey. You know, navigating a city on your own isn't just about getting from A to B. It builds huge confidence.
It really does.
And it truly opens up exploring. It's definitely a significant milestone in feeling, well, at home somewhere new.
It absolutely is. It's a taste of real freedom and independence in your new surroundings.
Okay. After a successful bus journey to the museum, our listener is probably feeling a bit hungry. Time for a restaurant adventure. This can feel incredibly intimidating for a language learner, almost like a performance, right?
It certainly can. There are so many moving parts, aren't there? Being seated, trying to read the menu, ordering, paying. It's a whole sequence of interactions.
Yeah.
Let's maybe break it down into 2 bits. First, a simple fast food place, which usually has a very predictable script.
Good idea.
And then a more formal sit-down restaurant experience.
Excellent. Let's start with the most predictable scenario. Fast food. Burger joint, sandwich shop, that kind of thing.
Okay, so you walk in, you go to the counter. The person there will likely say something like, hi, what can I get for you? Or maybe, hello, I can help, who's next?
Standard stuff.
And you can say, hey, can I please have a cheeseburger? Or, hello, I would like the chicken sandwich. Using can I please have or I would like is the most polite and natural way to order. The beauty here is the script is almost always the same. Great practice.
Right. And after you order the main thing, they'll probably ask follow-up questions. Upselling, maybe.
Yes, exactly. They'll upsell or just clarify. They might ask, would you like to make that a meal? Which usually means adding fries and a drink.
Okay.
Or anything you drink with that. And then crucially, for here or to go, which means, do you want to eat it in the restaurant or take it away?
Ah, to go means takeaway.
Exactly. These are standard questions, so just knowing they're coming helps a lot.
Okay, that was a very smooth and successful fast food order. Now for the, let's say, slightly bigger challenge. A sit-down restaurant where a waiter or waitress serves you at your table.
Right, a new level of social navigation. First step is entering. You'll almost always see a sign near the door that says something like, please wait to be seated.
Important, don't just grab any table.
Definitely not. Wait for a staff member, the host, or maitre d'. They'll greet you, and then you can say, hello, a table for 1, please. Or if you're with someone, hi, a table for 2, please. Simple.
Okay. The host takes you to a table, gives you a menu. What happens next?
The waiter or waitress will come over. Their first question is usually about drinks. Can I get you started with something to drink? You can order water, juice, soda, whatever you like.
Get the drinks sorted.
Then they'll usually give you some time to look at the menu. When they come back, they'll ask, are you ready to order? If you are, great. If you need more time, it is perfectly okay to say, I need another minute, please. Don't feel rushed.
Good to know. Menus are usually split up, right? Appetizers or starters, main courses, or maybe entrees, desserts.
Exactly. So let's say our listener is ready to order their main course.
Okay.
You use those polite phrases again. I would like the grilled fish, please. Or maybe I will have the pasta. But here's a really crucial tip, especially when you're learning. It can be incredibly helpful to point to the item on the menu as you say it.
Ah, point and speak.
Yes. Pointing, combined with saying it, can prevent any misunderstandings, especially if the dish has an unfamiliar name or pronunciation. It just makes it crystal clear.
Smart. Okay, so our listener enjoys their meal. Delicious. Now they're finished and want to pay. How do they signal that? You can't just walk up to the counter like in a fast food place.
No, you can't. You need to get your waiter's attention. The simplest way is just to try and make eye contact. When they look your way, give a small smile and a nod.
The subtle nod.
Or a classic subtle gesture is to make a little sign in the air like you're writing on your hand, like signing a check.
Okay.
Then when they come over, you say, "Excuse me, could we have the bill, please?" Or note, in North America, they usually say the check instead of the bill.
Good distinction. Bill in the UK, check in the US, Canada, generally.
Still, yeah. And then payment is made, just like at the shop.
Pretty much. But this brings up a hugely important cultural point. Tipping.
Ah, yes. The unwritten rules.
Exactly. This varies so much between countries.
It really does. In many English-speaking countries, particularly the USA, tipping isn't just like extra money for great service. It's an expected part of the dining experience because it makes up a significant portion of the server's wages.
Right. So how much typically?
Well, in the U.S., for example, a tip of around 15-20% of the bill amount is pretty standard for good service in a sit-down restaurant. It's really important to research the local tipping customs wherever you are. It's a significant cultural nuance.
Absolutely crucial to know. Thank you for covering that. Eating out is such a fundamental social and practical thing in a new country, and breaking it down like this hopefully makes it feel much more manageable.
It absolutely does. Turns a potential source of stress into hopefully a confident and enjoyable experience.
Okay, we've touched on this a bit already in other sections, but I think it really deserves its own focus. That moment when your brain just freezes because you don't quite understand what someone said. The key, as you mentioned before, is the bravery not to pretend.
It's the golden rule, honestly. If you pretend you understood, you can end up in much more confusing or even really awkward situations later on.
Right.
Being honest and just asking for clarification is always the best way. It actually shows you're a good communicator, not a poor speaker. It shows you care about understanding.
We've already got some great phrases in our toolkit. Sorry, can you say that again slowly, please? And can you repeat that, please? And adding, I'm sorry, I'm learning English is a brilliant way to explain things immediately.
Yeah, sets the context nicely.
But let's add even more tools. What if the speed isn't the problem, but it's a specific word you don't know?
Yes. Someone uses a word you've never heard before.
Yeah.
Like maybe a cashier says, your total is 12 pounds and your receipt is in the till. And you're thinking, what on earth is a till?
Right.
You can be direct and just ask, I'm sorry, what does till mean? It is perfectly okay to ask for a definition.
Okay.
Or another approach is to ask for an example. Can you give me an example, please? The person might then say, oh, the cash register, where I put the money. And suddenly it clicks.
That's so useful. Another great strategy, I think, is to try and repeat back what you think you understood as a way of confirming.
Yes. I use this one all the time, even as a native speaker. It shows you are listening carefully, and it gives the other person a chance to confirm or correct you.
How would that sound?
So if someone gives you directions, you could say, okay, so you're saying that I need to turn left at the next traffic light, just to be clear. Or you can then say, yes, that's right. Or maybe, turn right.
That is a fantastic technique and makes the conversation a real exchange, not just you passively receiving information.
Exactly.
So quick recap, new phrases for handling misunderstandings. I'm sorry, what does word mean? Can you give me an example, please? So you're saying that what you understood, or just to be clear, what you understood. And a really polite general one is, I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Perfect.
Okay.
And let me share a quick real story that illustrates this perfectly. When I first moved to the UK, I went to the post office to send a package. The man behind the counter asked, do you want this sent by standard or recorded delivery?
Okay.
I had absolutely no idea what recorded delivery meant. For a split second, I felt that familiar panic, and it almost just said standard to avoid looking silly.
I know that feeling.
But then I took a breath and said, I'm so sorry. I'm quite new to the postal system here. What's the difference between standard and recorded delivery? And he was so kind. He patiently explained that recorded meant someone had to sign for it when it arrived. I was so relieved I asked.
Great example.
Another time, this is slightly embarrassing, I wanted to tell someone I was really full after a big meal, but I accidentally mixed up my words and said I was very busy.
Oh, no.
The person looked so confused. We ended up having a good laugh about it. And trust me, I have never forgotten the word full since that day.
That's brilliant. See, mistakes are teachers. That's where the real learning happens, and it avoids bigger confusion later. Every time you ask for clarification, you're not failing. You're actively learning. You're being a language detective.
A language detective. I like that. Yes.
Okay, now we're going to tackle something that, frankly, even native speakers can find stressful. Making a phone call to arrange something important, like making an appointment doctor, dentist, maybe even a hairdresser.
Ugh, the phone. It's extra scary, isn't it? Precisely because you can't see the person's face, you lose all those visual cues, gestures, lip-reading expressions.
So there's a pure listening challenge.
Exactly. So preparation is absolutely key here. Before you even pick up the phone, get everything ready. Know your goal. I want to make an appointment with the doctor. Have your personal details handy, full name, date of birth, address. Have your calendar open so you know which days and times you're generally free. And, crucially, have a pen and paper right there to write down the appointment details they give you.
Reduces the stress in the moment.
Hugely.
Yeah.
It reduces the cognitive load during what can be a stressful interaction.
Okay, excellent preparation. So let's walk through a typical call, say to a doctor's clinic. The person who answers is usually called a receptionist. What's the flow typically like?
Right. The receptionist will answer probably with something like, "Good morning, Elm Street Clinic. Sarah speaking. How can I help you?"
Okay.
You then clearly state your purpose. "Hello, I would like to make an appointment to see a doctor, please." They'll likely ask if you've been registered there before, and then for your details, name, date of birth.
And the reason for the appointment, do you need to give lots of detail?
No, not usually over the phone to the receptionist. When they ask the reason, you can be quite general. "I have a bad cough," or "I just don't feel well and would like to see someone." You don't need to go into very private details at this stage.
Okay, good to know. Then they'll offer you a time.
Yes, exactly. They might say, "Okay, the first available appointment is on Thursday at 10:30 a.m. Does that work for you?"
And this is where confirming is vital.
Absolutely crucial. You should repeat the date and time back to confirm you heard correctly. Thursday at 10:30 a.m. Yes, that is perfect for me. They'll probably confirm it again on their end.
Okay.
Then you can wrap up with, "No, that's everything. Thank you for your help." And here's a bonus tip. If the other person doesn't explicitly repeat it back to confirm, you should initiate it.
Take control.
Yeah. So I'd just like to confirm. That's Thursday at 10:30 a.m. It gives you peace of mind and really prevents mix-ups.
Very smart. Now, often when you go to a clinic or office for the first time, you have to fill out a form. Personal details, medical history, etc. These forms can sometimes have tricky jargon or confusing questions. What if you don't understand something on the form?
Oh, you should never just guess, especially on official forms. It's completely normal and absolutely okay to ask for help.
How would you do that?
Just take the form back to the receptionist and say, "Excuse me, I need a little help with this form, please. Can you explain what this question means?" Or simply, "I don't understand everything here. Can you help me?" It is always, always better to ask than to write incorrect information, which could cause problems later.
Absolutely. That's essential for accessing services properly and managing daily life. So the key message for phone calls and forms: prepare thoroughly, speak slowly and clearly.
And always have the courage to ask for help if you're not 100% sure.
Right. It genuinely makes a huge difference, reduces anxiety, increases accuracy.
Definitely.
Okay, we've talked a lot about conversations that have a clear purpose, right? Ordering food, making an appointment. But what about those conversations that don't really have a specific goal? That friendly, light chat we call small talk.
Small talk. It can feel like the hardest thing to master sometimes because it seems like there are no rules.
Yeah, what are the rules?
Well, that's the thing. But it's actually so crucial for building connections, for feeling like you belong in a community. It's less about exchanging information and more about, social bonding, making people feel comfortable.
Okay, so let's try to create a mini small talk masterclass. What are the best and safest topics to start these friendly, low-stakes conversations?
Okay, the number one, safest, most popular small talk topic in the world, especially in places like the UK, is the weather.
Always the weather.
Always. It's a universal shared experience. Nobody gets offended by it, and it's a super low-stakes opener. You can start a chat with almost anyone, anywhere, by talking about it.
How would you phrase it?
Simple things like, it's a beautiful day today, isn't it? Or, wow, I can't believe how much rain we're having. Or maybe, ooh, it's a little chilly this morning, isn't it?
Isn't it? At the end seems important.
It really is. That's often called a tag question. And it's more than just a grammatical tick. It's like a powerful social lubricant in English conversation. It invites agreement. It's almost saying, we're sharing this observation right. We agree. It's a really non-threatening way to start a connection and make sure you're on the same page.
That's a really deep insight into how English speakers build rapport, actually. Okay, so beyond the ever-reliable weather, what are some other good, safe topics?
You can talk about your immediate surroundings. These are sometimes called situational openers.
Okay.
So if you're at a park, you could say, this park is so lovely. If you're waiting in line at a coffee shop, maybe turn to the person next to you and say, the coffee smells so good here.
Right. Comment on the shared environment.
Exactly. What works here is that it's relevant to both of you in that exact moment.
Yeah.
It creates this instant shared reality to talk about.
Makes sense. What about asking people questions about themselves? We touched on a few basic ones earlier.
Yes, the basic questions are a great starting point. So, where are you from? How long have you lived here? Do you work or study? Those are fine.
Okay.
But the key to good small talk, the really insightful bit, isn't just firing off questions. It's listening intently to the answer and then asking a genuine follow-up question.
The follow-up.
Yes. Think of it like a game of conversational tennis. They hit the ball to you with their answer. You have to hit it back with a follow-up question that shows you were listening and you're genuinely interested.
Give me an example.
Okay, say you ask, where are you from? And they say, oh, I'm from Pakistan. Instead of just nodding or moving on, you could say, oh, Pakistan, how interesting. What's your city like? You keep the rally going.
I love that tennis analogy. It perfectly shows the back and forth needed. Now, crucially, it's also important to know which topics to maybe avoid in small talk, especially with people you don't know well. What are the potential danger zones?
Right. In most Westie cultures, it's generally seen as impolite or too personal to ask people you've just met about certain sensitive topics.
Such as?
Definitely avoid asking about their salary or how much money they make. That's usually a big no-no. Also, asking about their age or their weight.
Okay, personal stats are out.
Yeah. And generally steer clear of potentially divisive subjects like politics or religion unless you know the person very well or the context is right. Also, be cautious with highly personal questions about marital status or children, and definitely avoid intrusive questions like, why aren't you married yet?
Stick to safer ground.
Exactly. Stick to lighter, more general topics, hobbies, travel experiences, movies, music, food. A really safe and often effective question is, so do you have any exciting plans for the weekend? People usually like talking about that.
Good one. And finally, how do you end a small talk conversation gracefully? You can't just turn and walk away.
True. You need a nice little exit line, a polite way to signal the conversation is ending.
Okay.
You can say something like, well, it was so nice talking to you. I should probably get going now. Or, it was lovely to meet you. Hope I see you around again. Or maybe, I have to run, but have a great rest of your day. And then finish with a warm smile and a simple bye. Look, small talk is a skill. And like any skill, it just gets easier and feels more natural the more you practice it. And it's so vital for building those connections and feeling part of your new community.
Every little chat is a step forward, isn't it?
Absolutely. Start small. The cashier, the bus driver, the person walking their dog in the park, you're building that foundation of social confidence bit by bit.
We have covered so many real-life situations today, offering practical tools, deeper insights. But the big question our listeners might have now is, okay, how can I actually practice all of this? How do I weave this learning into my daily life so it feels natural, not like, homework? Let's talk about building a daily practice plan.
Yes, this is crucial. Consistency is key. First off, a huge part of the journey is just getting your ears used to the sounds and rhythms of English.
How can you do that passively?
Find simple English podcasts or news reports specifically designed for learners. The speech is usually a bit slower, clearer. Listen while you're cooking, cleaning, commuting, walking. You don't even have to understand every single word at first.
Really?
Yeah. The initial goal is just letting the sounds, the intonation, the natural speed kind of wash over you. It's like developing auditory muscle memory, tuning your ear.
Interesting approach. And you also suggested watching English cartoons or short videos with subtitles. Why cartoons specifically?
Because the language is usually simpler, often quite repetitive, and crucially, the pictures provide really strong context. Shows made for kids are fantastic for adult learners.
Never thought of it that way.
The plot is easy to follow, and the visuals help you connect the words to the actions. And subtitles are your absolute best friend here.
How should you use them?
Maybe watch first with subtitles in your own language, just to get the story. Then, watch the same thing again, but this time with English subtitles. This directly connects the sounds you hear to the words you see on screen, reinforces vocabulary, spelling, pronunciation, all at once.
That's a brilliant multi-sensory method.
Right.
Okay, and what if someone lives alone or doesn't have an immediate English-speaking person to practice with?
Great question. You absolutely have to find someone to speak with or a community. This could be a friend you schedule regular calls with. Or you could join a language exchange group online. There are tons of websites and apps for that.
Or in person.
Yes, or look in your local community. Many libraries or community centers offer free conversation clubs specifically for language learners. Even just 10 minutes of actually speaking English every day is way more powerful than, say, 2 hours crammed into one session per week.
Why is that?
Because the goal is consistency. It's about overcoming that inhibition, that fear of opening your mouth, not just about being grammatically perfect every time. Just use the language.
Let's add a few more quick daily practice tips. One of my personal favorites is to simply try and think in English.
How does that work?
Try narrating your own life inside your head, using simple English sentences. So when you're making breakfast, you can think to yourself, okay, I am opening the fridge. I am taking out the milk. Now I am getting a glass.
Like an inner monologue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It might feel a bit silly at first, but it consistently builds the habit of forming English sentences, accessing vocabulary without any pressure.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another incredibly simple but really effective tip. Use sticky notes, Post-it notes. Write the English name for common objects all around your house and stick the notes on the objects. Put a note on your mirror that says mirror, a note on your table that says table, chair, window, door, kettle.
So you just see the words constantly.
Literally hundreds of times a day. It builds automatic recognition without you even consciously trying to memorize lists. It just sinks in.
Clever. And one more, which gives you instant functional vocabulary. Change the language setting on your phone to English.
Ooh, brave.
It is a bit brave at first, but you use your phone constantly. You will quickly learn essential digital words like settings, messages, call, search, notifications, connect, download, because you'll see them and interact with them every single day in a really meaningful context.
These are all such practical, powerful tips. The main idea, really, is to just integrate English into your world in small, maybe even fun ways. Don't make it feel like a chore. Make it a natural, enjoyable part of your everyday life. Even that little bit of consistent practice every day makes a huge, huge difference over time in building real fluency.
We have reached the end of our deep dive for today. We've traveled quite a journey, haven't we? From those crucial first hellos, all the way through navigating daily life and building a practice plan designed for confidence and hopefully deeper understanding. Before we sign off, do you have any final words of encouragement for everyone listening who's maybe right at the start of this big, amazing, sometimes scary journey?
Yes, I really do. I want to speak directly to you, the person listening right now. I know the excitement and I absolutely know the fear. The most important thing I think I can tell you is this. Please, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are not your enemy. Honestly, they're your most effective teachers. Every single time you say the wrong word or use the wrong grammar or misunderstand something, it's actually a really valuable chance to learn the right way. Remember, no one, not even native speaker, speaks perfectly all the time. We all stumble. So be kind to yourself. Really.
Yeah.
Laugh at your mistake, like my busy versus full story. It helps.
Absolutely.
So please, just speak. Even if you think your sentences aren't perfect, even if you're searching for words, just speak. Speak slowly if you need to. Listen carefully to others. And always ask questions when you're unsure. Be curious. Embrace being that language detective we talked about.
Yeah.
And most importantly, really believe in yourself. You can absolutely do this. You have already taken the hardest step, which is just deciding to start this journey, or maybe even making the move already. That takes incredible courage. You are brave, you are strong, and you are capable of amazing things. Every single day that you practice, even just a little bit, you are getting better. Even if you don't notice it immediately. Progress isn't always linear, but it is happening.
That is truly beautiful and very powerful advice. To all of you out there listening, we really hope you feel a bit more prepared now, maybe more confident, and genuinely more excited about your own English journey ahead. Remember to be patient with the process. Be brave in those moments of uncertainty. And above all, be kind to yourself along the way.
Keep listening, keep practicing, and know that we're here cheering you on. You really are doing great.
And maybe one final thought to leave you with. This journey of learning a new language and navigating a new country, it isn't just about mastering vocabulary lists or grammar rules, is it? It's actually a much deeper dive. It's about resilience, it's about cultural understanding, and it's about discovering strengths inside yourself that maybe you never even knew you had. It's about personal growth that goes far, far beyond the words themselves. Until next time, bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Take care.